What's going on, family? I'm Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuff series. 10 greatest black light heavyweights, in my opinion, include Michael the Jinx Spinks. Born July 13th, 1956. Stands 6 foot 2.5 inches, weighed 165 to 202 pounds. Michael Spinks participated in the 1976 Montreal Olympic Games. He would pick up a middleweight championship title as a gold medalist. Now, his brother Leon Spinks would pick up a gold medal as well. In fact, that game was loaded with gold medal winners. You had Leo Rudolph from Washington, Sugar Ray Leonard from Maryland. You had Howard Davis from Long Island. That was a very good team. It truly, truly was. And Michael Spinks came from those games. But he would win a controversial heavyweight championship belt. It was the IBF from Larry Holmes in 1985. And he would be distinguished as the People's Champion from 85 to 88. Now, Mike Tyson would pick up the IBF championship strap in 1987 with a 12-round victory over Tony Tucker. But Michael Spinks had never lost his title in the ring. He did not face Mike Tyson. So it was unfinished business for Mike Tyson before he could be solidified as the undisputed and unified heavyweight champion. So Butch Lewis would take full advantage of that opportunity. You see, there was an HBO tournament that Don King and Butch Lewis was a part of. Now, Butch Lewis used Michael Spinks as a monopoly tool. In the contract he signed with HBO tournament, Michael Spinks can move in and out of the tournament any which way he chose to. Because they had a feeling that Mike Tyson might join that tournament. And when Don King was able to get Bill Caton to sign up Mike Tyson for the tournament, because obviously they wanted to be champion, as soon as Butch Lewis found out about it, he snatched Michael Spinks out of the tournament once Mike Tyson defeated Trevor Berbick. So instead, Michael Spinks would take on Stefan Tankster and Jerry Cooney. Once he took on Jerry Cooney, Butch Lewis knew that that would be a violation of the agreement. So they stripped Michael Spinks of his title. That was the way out of fighting Mike Tyson. But Michael Spinks never lost his title in the ring, so he was still considered the People's Champion. And that didn't sit well with Mike Tyson or Bill Caton. So they signed up Michael Spinks and Mike Tyson at the Atlantic City Boardwalk. I had the pleasure of being at that fight, 1988. And that was one of the most anticipated fights that I witnessed. Didn't last very long, 91 seconds. But it was somewhat in redemption of the first Larry Holmes fight, because Larry Holmes was 48-0. He was knocking on the door of tying Rocky Marciano's 49-0 record. And Larry Holmes was a very controversial figure in terms of his appeal. He was not well liked because he ended the career of Larry Holmes' idol, which was Muhammad Ali. And he spoke his mind. And what did it for Larry Holmes is when he spoke after the first Michael Spinks fight in an interview with HBO. And he said he understands that judges get drunk before fights. And what Larry Holmes meant was the referees and judges would be seen with Don King at a dinner 2 evenings before a fight. He knows because he was at that meeting. So when the circumstance was against him, he opened up a can of worms. And the most famous quote in boxing, Larry Holmes would make on HBO. Since we're on HBO, that's my big black behind. That Larry Holmes is something else, man. So he had to knock out Spinks in that second fight in '86. Wasn't able to do it. Although he had Spinks vomiting in between rounds. But since he didn't knock him out, and Spinks would stand, he would win the fight. A lot of people didn't like that. So they wanted to see Spinks lose because Mike Tyson at this point was a media darling. Everyone liked Mike Tyson. He was a breath of fresh air. He was knocking everyone out. And it was just unfinished business. You knew Michael Spinks was going to lose the fight. You didn't know he would lose in that fashion, but you knew he would lose the fight. So he would end his boxing career June 27, 1988, at the Convention Hall in Atlantic City. He was knocked out by Mike Tyson. 1 round, 91 seconds. His heavyweight professional record, 5 bouts, 1 loss, 4 wins. Against Larry Holmes, winning twice, both in 15 rounds. We take on Stefan Tankstead, Las Vegas Hilton, and we defeat him by technical knockout. We take on Larry Holmes at the Riviera Hotel and Casino Outdoor Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada, September 21st, 1985. And Holmes was 48-0. He was looking to break Rocky Marciano's record. Spinks would take on Larry Holmes once again at the International Boxing Federation tournament. And what it was designed to do, it was designed to break Larry Holmes' winning streak of defeating Rocky Marciano's record. It was at the Las Vegas Hilton, April 19th, 1986. Holmes would now be 48-1. Now, Michael Spinks would take on light heavyweights such as Yaki Lopez, Marvin Johnson, Murray Sutherland. He would defeat Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, the Imperial Palace Hotel, Las Vegas, Nevada, for the WBC Light Heavyweight Championship crown. The fight went 15 rounds. And Michael Spinks' hand would be raised. We'll take on Dwight Muhammad Qawi at the Convention Hall in Atlantic City. He would win the WBC Light Heavyweight Championship crown March 18th, 1983. Now, Larry Hazard was the referee for this bout. I had the pleasure of being at this fight. I was at the Larry Holmes and Michael Spinks fights, both of them. I was at the fight with Eddie Davis at the Resort International, Atlantic City, February 25th, 1984, for the WBC, WBA, and the IBF Light Heavyweight Championship titles. Michael Spinks, I had the pleasure of meeting several times. Butch Lewis as well. The thing with Michael Spinks, he came up in an era when the light heavyweight were on fire. You had the Davison brothers, or the Davis brothers. Dwight Muhammad Kawi, Yaki Lopez, Matthew Saad Muhammad, Imibi. Eventually you have Donnie Golden Boy Lalonde. I mean, you had them all. Costas and all of them. So Michael Spinks came at the right time. And Ray Leonard really put the icing on the cake on that team. So the anticipation was great. Was Michael Spinks the best light heavyweight? Not by a landslide. However, during his era, and that's how I judge fighters, in the time in which they came, Michael Spinks was the best. So I have to give it to Michael Spinks. So he is on the list, in my opinion. Greatest light heavyweight as a black fighter in the 10 fighters that I'm naming. Join me in my last selection. 10 greatest black light heavyweights, in my opinion, of all time. Shout out to Michael Spinks. Michael the Jinx Spinks. He was something else. Thanks for listening.